Hey guys, it's Woody here, or Will. Welcome to another movie review. Today I will be reviewing Suicide Squad. Now, I saw this Friday night, the day after it came out, but August 5th, that's the day it officially came out. But I saw it Friday, and first thoughts, I loved it. The critics, don't listen to them. These movies are made for the fans, and the fans enjoyed it. And that's all that matters. So, the fans really loved it. But the critics were just kind of bashing them, and I don't know. I don't know what they saw wrong in the movie. But the movie was great. I love the idea that they had of bringing a group of really bad people together to stop something worse. So I love this whole thing of just kind of introducing all these bad people, all these villains, and just kind of mashing them together into this team. And it was just really cool. Let me just say, Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie, you couldn't have done better. Harley Quinn is such a cool character in this movie. The first time we see her in the movie is as Harley Quinn already, and then later on it kind of dives into the backstory of how she was Dr. Harleen Quinzel, and she was the Joker's therapist kind of at Arkham Asylum, and she fell in love with him into this dangerous relationship that ended up having her become Harley Quinn. And I just love these little backstories that they were able to pull off. Yet just bring the movie together all in one nice little package, which I loved. I loved the Flash's cameo. It was cool to see that because it feels like the comics, like with Captain Boomerang, how the Flash caught him. It's like in the comics, there's just a bunch of different run-ins all the time with their typical villains, and that's what makes the movies different from the comics, is that they are based around one movie, and you can only get so much of one character because of the actors' contracts and all that. In the comics, there are all these different stories put together, all these different encounters, and that's how they build up these relationships, and it's cool to see just kind of a part of that, to see Captain Boomerang in the Flash kind of together, and who knows, we might see him again together in the Flash's own movie. Who knows? Deadshot, I loved. Will Smith as Deadshot, he did great with the whole thing about his daughter. He does all these things, and then his daughter is, what stops him, what motivates him to do some good. That's eventually, in the end, is what he has to fight, because he had to make the call, with Enchantress at the end of the movie, which Cara Delevingne did a great job as both June Moon and Enchantress. He had to just kind of fight this mental battle to overcome the physical one. And I liked that. And the Joker. Jared Leto, great job. He gives me the chills at certain parts of that movie, man. I mean, when we see him come out of his little helicopter or plane and just keep shooting at the Suicide Squad, he gives this eerily awesome laugh. Just classic Joker. It's awesome. And, man, Jared Leto, you couldn't be doing any better. And some people were mad about how Joker wasn't as big of a part in the movie as they would like. Now, that's understandable because, most of the footage we saw in the trailers actually, surprisingly, was not shown in the movie. A portion of it was, but there are more scenes, apparently, that they deleted of him that were filmed than however much of it made it into the final cut. But we all have to remember that this is just the first time we will be seeing Joker. I mean, he is Batman's main villain, and of course we're going to see more of him. He is arguably the biggest villain of DC, and at least in popularity. And we have to remember, Enchantress was the main villain, okay? And Joker was in this to, Joker was in this to introduce his character, but he was also a big part of introducing Harley's character with her backstory and everything. And so, I know it is the Joker, and I know that a lot of people are upset because they didn't see as much of him in the movie as was planned, but don't worry, we will see more of the Joker in the future. And let's be honest, this movie had a great soundtrack. I've been listening to it ever since I walked out of that theater. Sucker for Pain, Heathens, Wreak Havoc, Gangsters, so many songs, and they included the Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen in that movie. So great. Fortunate Son by Creedence Clearwater Revival. Just so many classic songs. Dirty Deeds. I loved it. But let's get into the spoiler talk. So, Slipknot. Let's talk Slipknot. He was in a portion of the footage, but a lot of it was repeated, and that is obviously because, spoiler alert, he dies off early in the second act of the film. And he wasn't a huge character in the comics, but he was a significant member of the Suicide Squad. And his death was just to prove what measures that Rick Flag and Amanda Waller were going to take to prove that if somebody crossed the line, they would die. Just like Rick Flag said, you disobey him, you die. And that's just what happened to Slipknot. He was an example, and to Captain Boomerang, he was just kind of like, oh, so there are bombs in our heads. Because he convinced Slipknot that there weren't, which I think he was kind of trying to see if there was or not. Which there was, and that kind of, set the tone that, y'all gotta work together. Don't cross the lines, or you'll be killed. By the way, speaking of Amanda Waller, great character. She goes to huge measures. That one point when she was in that little room when she was tracking the Suicide Squad, those 3 people were on the computer, she just gets out her gun and shoots them all. I think it was just because, I don't know if she didn't think that they were going to survive, or that she didn't need them anymore, or that there's too much valuable information that they found out when they were helping Amanda Waller with the Suicide Squad project. I don't know, but that just showed how crazy yet controlled her character was. Like, she's the boss. And Diablo, the hero, the breakout star of the movie, he was the big one that we didn't expect to be a fan favorite that became a fan favorite. And I love when things like this happen. You have these minor characters who you don't really know a huge amount of at first, and then these movies make them well known and make them so great, like fan favorites. I just love it. And Diablo made the ultimate sacrifice. He turned into his Aztec form, went all out with the skull and stuff, and that was awesome. And I don't know if this was foreshadowing or if it was just kind of a coincidence, because early on in the movie, Amanda Waller, when she was at dinner with that, was it like lieutenant or something? She says, "I'll fight fire with fire." And some of you might say, oh, well, The Enchantress's brother isn't fire. Well, you know what I mean. His powers are somewhat like fire, and just, evil represents fire in a way. And Diablo, you know, you fight fire with fire. So Diablo fought the brother with his fire powers, obviously. And I noticed that. I don't know if that was anything, but that's just something I noticed. So I love the movie, just so many great points of the film. I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching this review. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you have any suggestions for a future video, please let me know in the comments as well. And I will see you guys later. Bye.